We are living through a time of rapid technological evolution. But it wasn't until we started planning this episode that we realized just how much things have changed since the year 2000. In some ways, not much has changed at all. We still watch YouTube videos on our computers. And although ChatGPT is better than Google for getting quick answers to questions, Google is still better if you're looking for something more specific. We use Microsoft Office for work and Adobe Photoshop for editing photos. But these applications were also popular in the year 2000. The difference is that back then, you had to buy the software and install it on your computer. Today, you just subscribe to the service and access it via the cloud. But the biggest changes aren't necessarily visible. They're hidden underneath the surface. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into the world of tech and explore how things have changed between the years 2000 and 2025. In the early 2000s, newspapers and TV were still major sources of news. The internet was around, but it was nowhere near as advanced as it is today. The internet was around, but it wasn't nearly as advanced as it is today. Back then, cash and credit cards were the primary forms of payment. But today, we have a variety of new payment methods available to us. One of the most popular is Apple Pay, which allows you to make payments using your Apple device. Back then, it was common for people to work in offices from 9 to 5, but today, many companies have adopted a more flexible approach to work. Back then, people primarily used brick and mortar banks to manage their finances. But today, we have a variety of online banking options available to us. Online banks typically offer higher interest rates and lower fees than traditional banks, making them a popular choice for consumers. Additionally, mobile banking has become incredibly popular in recent years, with people being able to check their balances and transfer funds from their smartphones. From the way we consume information to the way we shop, technology has made our lives easier and more efficient. However, it's important to be aware of the potential downsides of technology and to use it responsibly. But even in the midst of this economic downturn, there were glimmers of hope. The release of new devices like the iPhone and the iPad ushered in a new era of mobile computing. AI has become ubiquitous in our daily lives, from the algorithms that power our social media feeds to the virtual assistants on our smartphones. The dot-com crash of the early 2000s was a painful lesson in the importance of innovation and the dangers of complacency. But the industry's response to this setback was nothing short of remarkable. The rise of new companies like Google, YouTube, and Facebook transformed the way we live, work, and interact with each other. AI is changing the world in ways that we're only just beginning to understand, and the launch of app stores made it easier than ever for developers to distribute their creations to a global audience. What new innovations and breakthroughs will the next 25 years bring? How will AI continue to shape our world? And what role will humanity play in this brave new world? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the journey will be filled with both challenges and opportunities. And those who are willing to embrace change and innovate accordingly will be the ones who succeed. Social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram connected people like never before. The tech industry is constantly evolving and changing, and the only companies that thrive are those that are willing to embrace change and innovate accordingly. The rise of artificial intelligence is just the latest example of this. And the companies that choose to ignore AI or fail to adapt to its capabilities will be left behind. And the rise of streaming services like Netflix and Spotify revolutionized the way we consume entertainment. Companies like Google, YouTube, and Facebook were just getting started, and they would go on to change the world in ways that we couldn't have imagined back then. The first iPhone wasn't released until 2007, and the Android market didn't really take off until a few years later. Social media as we know it today didn't exist. And the concept of a global pandemic would have been unthinkable. As technology continues to evolve, we can expect even more changes in the way we live our lives. So it is important to stay up to date with the latest developments and to be prepared for what the future may hold. This has made banking more convenient than ever before. But feel a sense of awe and wonder at the incredible pace of innovation and progress that we've witnessed. The year 2000 seems like a distant memory now, a time when the internet was in its infancy, personal computers were becoming more commonplace, and smartphones were a distant dream. The world was a different place back then. Remote work is becoming more and more popular, and many companies are allowing their employees to work from home or from anywhere else in the world as long as they get the job done. This has been made possible by advances in technology such as video conferencing and cloud computing. Additionally, the gig economy has grown significantly since the year 2000. More and more people are choosing to work for themselves rather than for a traditional employer. This has been facilitated by the rise of freelancing platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, which allow freelancers to connect with businesses in need of their services. Other popular methods include Google Pay, PayPal, and Venmo. These payment methods are convenient and secure, making them popular among consumers. But today, we have a variety of online learning options available to us. Online courses and degree programs are becoming more and more popular, making education more accessible than ever before. Additionally, people are now able to learn new skills and pursue their interests through online tutorials and classes. Additionally, cryptocurrencies have become a popular form of payment in recent years, although they're not as widely accepted as traditional payment methods. But today, we have a variety of telemedicine options available to us. Telemedicine allows people to consult with doctors remotely, making healthcare more convenient and accessible. Additionally, wearable health trackers and apps have become popular, allowing people to monitor their health and fitness levels. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies have gained popularity due to their decentralized and secure nature. While cryptocurrencies are still somewhat controversial, they're likely to continue growing in popularity in the years to come, and online shopping was still in its infancy. Plus, there were no such things as smartphones or apps like Uber and DoorDash. Music was primarily purchased in physical formats such as CDs, but the rise of streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Spotify has changed everything. Now we can watch or listen to whatever we want whenever we want without having to leave our homes. This has led to a decline in the sales of DVDs and CDs, but it's opened up a whole new world of entertainment options for consumers. If you wanted to buy something, you had to drive to the store, park your car, walk inside, and wait in line to pay for what you wanted. It was a time-consuming process, but today, things are completely different. With the rise of e-commerce and delivery services, we can now buy anything we want from the comfort of our own homes. We can compare prices from different sellers, read reviews, and have the item delivered to our doorstep within hours. Back then, dial-up was still common, and most people didn't have broadband internet access. Plus, social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube didn't exist. There was no such thing as a smartphone either. If you wanted to find out what was happening in the world, you had to turn on the TV or pick up a newspaper. It was a slow and sometimes unreliable process. But today, things are completely different. The first thing that stands out when comparing 2025 with 2000 is the way we consume information. Another big change since the year 2000 is the way we communicate. Back then, the most popular way to communicate was through traditional methods like phone calls and text messages. Email was also popular, but it was mostly used for business purposes. Social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and instant messaging apps like WhatsApp have changed everything. We can now connect with anyone in the world instantly, regardless of where they are. Video calling is also incredibly popular these days, making it easier than ever to connect with friends and family who live far away. But perhaps the most significant change since the year 2000 is the way we shop. Back then, most people shopped in physical stores. And speaking of buying things, one of the major differences between 2025 and 2000 is the way we pay for things. The entertainment industry has also seen some major changes since the year 2000. Back then, the primary way to watch movies was to go to the theater or rent a DVD. Another big difference between 2025 and 2000 is the way we work. One of the major differences between 2025 and 2000 is the way we bank. Education has also seen some major changes since the year 2000. Back then, traditional schools and universities were the primary way to obtain an education. Healthcare has also seen some major changes since the year 2000. Back then, people primarily relied on in-person doctor's visits for healthcare. So those are some of the major differences between 2025 and 2000. As you can see, technology has changed the way we live, work, communicate, and do business. As we look back on the journey of tech between the years 2000 and 2025, we can't help. In the early 2000s, the dot-com bubble had just burst and many tech companies were struggling to survive. Despite these challenges, the tech industry continued to innovate and evolve at a rapid pace. But perhaps the most significant development in the world of tech since the year 2000 has been the rise of artificial intelligence. Looking back, we can see that the journey of tech since the year 2000 has been one of incredible highs and devastating lows. The most important lesson we've learned from this journey is the importance of adaptability. As we look to the future of tech, we can't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation.